Hey guys, it's Ashley from ReloGeek.com and founder of Relo Academy, an auto transfer broker training course designed to take your business from rookie to pro in as little as 8 weeks. And you're watching ReloGeek TV. And today's video is meant for you despite the fact whether you're an actual auto carrier, an auto transfer broker, or a client looking to ship your car. What I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today is something that I touched on a while back about preferred carriers. And I'm not reneging on my statement that I said that most people that ship a car with a broker that says we have a list of preferred carriers are actually being fooled or deceived or lied to. Now, I made a post about this, like I said a while back, and I still stand by that. Most of these companies are doing exactly that. They're telling you clients that they have a list of preferred carriers when in all actuality, they don't. So if this is something that's interesting to you and you're a broker or a carrier or a client and you want to learn more about how this affects you directly, then you're going to want to keep watching. Okay, so as a client, I'm going to touch on that first. When you're trying to ship your car, you're probably going to get a lot of companies or read on their site where it says, hey, we have this list of preferred carriers, or we have a network of over 700 carriers that we've vetted, or whatever it is that they have on their website. You're going to probably see that show up a lot. And if not, in their sales email, when they send you that quote, it's going to say, oh, we have over 500 qualified carriers at our disposal. Now, although that may be true in retrospect, it is not 100% true. Let me explain. This database or this preferred carrier list is usually in the form of central dispatch, a non-public, so it's private, load board meant only for auto transport carriers, auto transport brokers, and dealerships. Now, the general public does not have access to this load board. However, if you are licensed, bonded, and insured as a carrier or as a broker or a dealership, then you're going to be able to get on this load board. Now, the problem comes is that they're misleading you to believe that when they give you this quote of, I don't know, $900 to ship your car from Florida to California with their service fee included, that these carriers are just lining up to take your car right now, right this second that they have it. But they don't. They have to do, there's a process. They have to take your information and put it on the load board. And once they put it on the load board, they have to wait for a carrier to call them and say, hey, I want that vehicle. And then the process begins. And each company, it's different. Now, there are, and as I've stated before, there are a couple of companies, a couple of brokerages that actually do have carriers that they use. And usually those carriers run specific routes, okay? And these are usually companies that have been in business like upwards to 10, 15 years, starting back in the early 1990s. They have actually built up a list. Why? Because back then, they didn't have as many tools that are available to us new brokers where technology is our best friend. So they've probably had this list for years upon years. But if you're dealing with companies that just started in, I don't know, 2010 or 2011 or 2012, it's highly unlikely that these companies have actually took the time to build up this list. So, as a client, how do you know whether or not a company actually has this preferred carriers list? How do you know if it's true or not? Well, here's the thing, and this is what I recommend. If you're trying to go with a company that claims that they have this preferred carriers list, and only if in their contract, which is your terms and conditions, you know, that thing that you agree to digitally when you place your order, if they have in their contract that your service fee is refundable, or that they don't charge you and there's no cancellation fee as long as you cancel before the vehicle is assigned to a carrier, I want you to do this. Sign that contract. Do whatever you have to do. Become their client. And then I want you to ask them this question. Who is the carrier that's going to be taking my car? Which one of your preferred carriers will be taking my car? I want their name and I want their insurance because I want to double check to make sure that this carrier is actually going to be reputable. Now, brokers, hold on a second before you kill me. Let me just explain this. I am not telling you to backstab these clients, but this is just a surefire way to test. Backstab these brokers. It's just a surefire way to test whether or not they truly work with a preferred carrier list. Because I know from my history and my research and my many hours of filling out fake quotes, yes, I do fill out fake quotes, that there are companies that have been able to say to me, I have the name of the company. As soon as you sign my contract, I will forward you all their information. And that's how I know that there are companies that do exist. I have tested it out with other companies that claim they have this preferred carriers list. And the results were, nobody can tell me. So then I use words and tactics like, so you basically use a load board. And then they go into the whole spiel about it's not you ship. Okay, when they should have explained this to you in the beginning, but they don't, because it's all about sales. They just want your sale. I prefer to spend time educating you first and then get the sale after, because if you don't understand the whole process and you choose me and then you have this whole conception, this whole thought of how it works when it doesn't really work that way, then what's going to happen is I'm going to disappoint you. So to protect my behind, to protect my little buns, I make sure that I explain the whole process to you. So that's for you. If you're a client, that's how you can figure out whether or not clients have this preferred carriers list. Now let's talk about the brokers. I'm going to leave the drivers for last because we have to talk about the brokers first before I can talk about the drivers. So now as a broker, if you want to, and I highly suggest you do this because like I said, at first I only had a preferred carriers list for one route in particular. Well, two technically, but from Northeast to California and from Florida to New York. And it's only like 4 carriers that I have. Most of them on the Northeast to Florida, the East Coast, I know them from my time as a driver. So I kind of made connections and I have leveraged these connections now as a broker. So I trust these guys. But the Northeast to California, it was just carriers that I used that I really liked, so I wrote their name down on a piece of paper. I'm kind of old school in a sense. I have digital files, but I wrote their name down on a piece of paper and I keep it right by my computer, so if I get a client that's moving that route, I can call them up, which ties into this. It is not hard for you to make this list. You don't have to know many companies. All you have to do is look back into all the companies that have moved cars already for you, right? And then you look back at the customers. If they left a review, how did they like the carrier? Was the carrier easy to work with? Was there damage? These little things. And then you call that company up, you introduce yourself and tell them, hey, you know, John, you hauled a car for me before, and you probably don't remember because I know you're extremely busy, but I want to make sure that whenever I get a client on your route, that I forward them to you. I load your truck with these clients. So let's talk about price. I know I paid you $1,200 last time to take a car from Boston to San Diego. How much would you charge me? How much would you want me to tell the clients? How much would you feel you're worth to move these vehicles if I get another client, say running that same route or somewhere along in that route? And do you run this route frequently? These are questions you need to start asking them. Develop a relationship with them. And then you write that company's name down or you save it to your computer and you put it away. So now what that does is when you get a client that's on that route, and I can't believe I'm telling you this right now. This is like my golden nugget here. But when you get a client on that route, you can easily look at that thing and say, I know that this company, they don't want anything less than $1,100. They would prefer to get $1,300, but they'll take at minimum $1,100. And then you have a client that's on a budget and their budget is, I don't know, $1,250. Then you can say, listen, I guarantee that your price will not go over $1,250. I guarantee that I'm going to put you on a carrier because I know John over at XYZ company. Of course, you wouldn't tell your client this because once they have the company's name, they can just eliminate you. But you tell them that I have a guy that has a truck that leaves every week, this day, this day, and this day. And that client is going to be like, holy cow. And a lot of these bigger companies, they just don't have the time to do that. Like, I don't know why everybody don't do this. Like, but as a small guy, we have the ability to be creative, to think outside the box, and to use our small size to our advantage. And that's what I do. I test things. I figure things out. I spend my hard-earned money to just find processes that work. That's going to make me a better broker. So that's something you can do in your business. And it's simple and it doesn't cost you anything, just time. And I know time is valuable and you can't get it back, but it will pay off because now when you're the one telling these clients, listen, my price is not going to change. This is the price and your car is guaranteed to be picked up between this window. You're going to be the go-to guy or the girl for that particular route or for that particular client, and they're going to love you for that. And now my carriers. I love you guys so much. Anyways, so with you guys, if a broker calls you, don't try to kill the broker. I know how this process works because I was a carrier, and every time I would call for a car on Central, I would always ask for more money. Even if I didn't need more money, I would say, hey, can I get $50 more? Or, hey, can I get $100 more? I'm not ashamed to admit that. That's the hustle. You want to make as much money as possible. I totally get that. But if you have a broker that's looking to become your friend and to tag team with you, that's going to do the work because they're marketing for you, and then send you these clients, grab a hold of that and don't try to milk that broker for all they got, because they're going to be the ones that's going to consistently load that trailer. And if that broker is smart, they would advertise their marketing based on that route. So for instance, if that broker is talking to you and you run northeast to California, that broker could market their services specifically for that area and then start sending you all those clients. So you're making money without having to pay for it. So I think that this is a very good opportunity for you guys to have a broker that's willing to do that. So if a broker reaches out and contacts you, you know, open up a little bit. I know how the process goes. I know most of you guys don't like brokers and wish we just poof, go away. Even customers don't like us. But we're here, and right now we're here to stay. What the future holds, I don't know. I can't predict that. But as a carrier, myself, as a previous carrier, and I still have my CDL, so I still consider myself a carrier, or a truck driver, you have to be open to these relationships. So let's stop trying to kill each other. Let's work together as a team, and let's make this whole car shipping process worthwhile for every single person we come in contact with. So that's it for this week's video on ReloGeek TV. As always, if you like this video, please support me by giving it a thumbs up and sharing. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And more importantly, whether you're a carrier or a broker, if you want more information about the industry and tips and tricks, head on over to my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ReloGeek and like the page. Plus, I want you to click that Start Here button. And when you click that button, I want you to sign up for the Relo Academy training camp. And I know you're probably wondering, because I've gotten this email a couple of times already this past week, whether or not I help auto transport carriers or if I only help brokers. And to answer that question, I help both of you guys. If you have a specific question about the trucking industry as a carrier, then shoot it over to me or leave it on my Facebook wall. I prefer that you leave it on the wall so other people can see that question and learn from it. But if it's something more private, I get a lot of people that talk about their credit or, you know, their financial situation. So that's more private and more, you know, secretive. We don't want to put that on Facebook. Then just shoot me an email, Ashley@ReloGeek.com, and I will try to answer your question to the best of my ability. And if I can't, I will find that answer for you. So that's it for ReloGeek TV this week. I'm Ashley from ReloGeek.com, and I'll see you guys next time.